So this is my third time trying to make this video because my phone, I don't know, this new Marshmallow update sucks. Keeps shutting my phone off. Sorry. Anyways, what do we got going on here? This is the finished product for now. All engine performance, essentially, most of it. I don't have coilovers or wheels and tires or anything like that yet, but anyway, just wanted to show you guys. Installed most of this stuff myself. This was pretty cool. It's just a cover from Password JDM. This bolt made it tricky to fit, but I got it to fit, so it works. Everything here, I got a little, let's see, IAG oil dipstick and cover for this. And real quick, I'll stop right here. If this shuts off, again, my phone's being it's being a little bitch right now, so I don't know what the deal is. I may have to make this more than one video just to complete the video. So anyway, you can see there, parent heat shield, Cobb turbo back, there's the downpipe right there, parent air oil separator, Cobb 3-port boost control solenoid, the intake, and of course the pulley that you might have seen from a different previous video. I also have the pitch stop mount, which you can kind of see the logo peeking out under there. And all this I installed myself with the exception of the air oil separator, just because I could not get fluids on the floor here. We rent this house. And this, the boost, or the electronic boost control solenoid, looks fairly easy enough to install, but you have to tune it immediately after you install it, you know, once you get the vehicle running. So wasn't going to try and drive 17 miles to Goodspeed to have that tuned afterwards, so I had them install it. They also installed the spark plugs just because I didn't want to mess with it, and on the fuel injectors. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Before I had them install that component, the injectors and spark plugs, I installed everything else. And I flashed it to COD Stage 2 Plus, and damn, that thing sounded awesome, along with the intake. I mean, kind of ricer sounding, but I mean, it sounded badass. Now that it's been tuned, had Clark Turner at Goodspeed tune it, it does not sound the same. You still get the loud whistle, but instead of the swooshing sound coming from that during shifts, it's more of like a chuffing sound, like is the best way I can describe it, from the turbo, which I used to be under the impression that was a compressor surge, but I think it might have more to do with this. I have no idea. I don't know. I know the sound change still sounds badass. It just sounds different. But at Cobb Stage 2 Plus, that sounded amazing. And it might have been adjusted for the tuning because the boost was raised, so maybe that's why it sounds different too, you know. I don't know. Quirky little quote there. I'm sure you guys know where that's from, and the relevance to this, of course, is that it's a boxer engine. So I just thought it'd be kind of neat to throw on there. If anybody's interested in any of those, hit me up and I'll see what I can do for you. Maybe I can get you one, but I don't expect too much of that. And also I forgot, I don't know if I showed you the parent pitch stop down there. But yeah, that's it. Got dyno tuned yesterday. And let me show you the exhaust. There's the Cobb exhaust, and I got them to sit with some adjustments pretty damn even. I mean, at first this one was sticking out a lot farther, and the mufflers themselves were kind of tilted different, but I fiddled with it a little while and got that taken care of. And I also have, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, yep, the Diff lockdown kit, which I installed, and the subframe lockdown kit. And those things are amazing. It's kind of hard to explain. It's kind of weird to try and explain the way they feel, because it's definitely stiffer, but it's not stiffer in your it's your drivetrain that's stiffer. It's not your suspension components, and they feel really good. For the money, I would definitely recommend them. They're a relatively cheap component when compared to everything else that I've done. So the power band, Now this is where I'm a little disappointed. The tune is phenomenal. Clark did a very good job tuning it, considering it's a factory turbo. We hit 290 to the wheels, and that's corrected, and 290 torque to the wheels. So it's definitely a power increase, but it's kind of deceiving in a way, because he tuned it so well that on the factory the way it drives from the factory stock, in other words, at about 3.5 RPM, you experience turbo lag in these cars, and at about 3.5 RPM is when that turbo kick really wakes up and kicks in, and you just feel it push you back in your seat and take off, and that feels fast. Whereas this, it's more of a linear curve, very smooth. It's not kind of like this and then jumps up all of a sudden. It's kind of more like just builds up and whatever. Following my hand here because I have a poor example using my hand, but anyway, much more linear. So it's kind of deceiving in a way. And to be honest with you, I'm not really happy with 290 horsepower. I thought I would be much more impressed with it. And again, I emphasize it is not the tune, it's the power. But that's okay, because it's definitely faster, gets up and goes, sounds amazing. But yeah, I'm just hungry for more power, and who isn't? So I just need to emphasize the tune is awesome. These guys did a fantastic job installing the parts. Did it in a very timely manner. So I am more than happy with that stuff. And again, I don't know, this video will probably shut off at any minute, just because for some reason, even though my phone says I can charge for film for 30 minutes, it'll only film for like, I don't know, 5-6 minutes, and then shut off, and then I have to restart. But one thing that I wanted to show you guys that I'm very, very disappointed with, and I believe it's the gauges. I don't believe it's an install error based on some research, but it's a very weird thing, and I'll show you guys what I mean. Actually, it's probably going to show up decent in here because, we're in relative shade. But these are Pro Sport gauges, boost gauge. Come on, focus. There we go. And the EGT gauge. And my car's not on, I just have the accessory and the keys in the accessory position. At night, these gauges look fine. They're not too bright. In fact, these gauges the factory gauges are a lot brighter, which is contradictory to what I've seen online. Whereas online, people are complaining that these gauges, the Pro Sport gauges, are way too bright, and they're wondering how to dim them. My gauges are dim as hell. When I take this thing out, I mean, granted, I'm in Arizona, you cannot even see this amber color, and you can barely see the needle color.